Now, Leeds United had a bit of a laundry list of a transfer shopping list coming into this summer transfer window, and we featured them on the channel a few weeks ago off the back of signing Sebastian Bornau from Wolfsburg, a player I was very excited to see come to the Premier League and I think could have a real impact for Leeds. But it really did divide the comment section in the last video, so many of you guys telling me where I'd got it wrong with the Leeds team and all that kind of stuff as well, which was very interesting to see, and I'm really thankful for all the insights in the comment section that we get here on the channel, because really without you guys, the Quinny FC channel, the football community is nothing. It's all built upon the community engagement, the comment section as well. So like always, feel free to get back into the comment section again. But Leeds have jumped into the market, and a lot of this stuff that we were highlighting in the last video and you guys were highlighting in the comment section, Leeds have acted on, they've resolved those issues, and the squad now feels a lot more well balanced, if it's not really, I'm not sure they've quite recruited to the same standard as we would all maybe have liked. And in the video today, we'll take a look at where the Leeds team currently sits at the moment, with the news that they've just signed a new goalkeeper, and Lucas Perri from Lyon, the Brazil, I don't want to say youth goalkeeper, but for goalkeepers, he's on the kind of younger end, isn't he? Alongside the signing of Anton Stach in from the Bundesliga, as well as Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, which I'm sure is going to divide opinion as well. At any point in the video, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And as always, get into the comment section, let me know thoughts, feelings, takeaways, anything I've got right, anything I've got wrong. Always interested and excited to catch the comment sections on the Leeds videos, especially because you guys are not shy. Now, last time we looked at this, there was like no left back in the frame at all. Byram is signed on for an extra year, and they've signed Gabriel Gudmundson as well from Lille. Now, this is a player I'm quite well up to speed with. He's been linked to Celtic a bunch of times. He's won, did he win the league with Lille? Actually, I'm not too sure on that one, but Lille operate at the top end of Ligue 1. Gudmundson was probably in Holland back then. This is a player that's very versatile, can play all up and down the left-hand side, left back, left mid, whatever. So he does offer some tactical versatility, but I think from open play, he's the sort of fullback you kind of want when you've got good tricky wingers that might want to cut inside once in a while. Having a guy that can actually support overlap, maybe even underlap, but penetrate the box all the same as whipping crosses. So I just think this is like a good transfer, but like I mentioned there at the back of the intro, I'm not too sure all these transfers really lift the level when you factor in that Sean Longstaff is again one of the other new arrivals we've seen. But Anton Stach very firmly falls into this Sebastian Bornau kind of tier for me, of a player that has high pedigree, high prospect, and a player that really could add something to Leeds' campaign and really give them that real fighting chance. Anton Stach has won lots of fans across European and the Bundesliga football, fans that watch those leagues and all that kind of thing. And this is a guy that is really hard for me to imagine isn't a starting player from Leeds, similar to Ao Tanaka, who I know, again, from catching the comment sections, you guys all love. But the number one thing that you were telling me I was getting wrong with this Leeds team was that Ethan Ampadu is not big enough to play centre-back, and he is definitely going to be playing in defensive midfield. Now, this raises a real problem for me. Like Gruev and Stach, and Longstaff, Tanaka, there was maybe a wee bit of rotation we'll see across the season. I think we can all already accept that. But if Ampadu is captain, isn't he? If he's definitely going to be playing, how do you get Stach and Tanaka into the same team? And again, a lot of you guys were very convinced that Bijol or Strojic will actually be the centre-back partner to go alongside Rodon. And all you guys are telling me Bornau's not even going to get into the team, and it'll be Jadon Bogle that plays right back, and Bornau's not going to come into the fray at all at centre back. But one of the comments actually did say there is a chance that you go to a back three, and I think the way the defence has been built, it would point to something like that. Bornau very effective in a back three, and with the likes of Rodon, Bijol, I would even put Ampadu in there. Like, if you put Ampadu in the middle of a back three, but he's got that permission to be the defensive midfielder in possession, I could certainly see that working with someone like Gudmundson on the left, and maybe it's somebody like Bogle, or maybe someone like Dan James that comes in on the right hand side, and the rest of the team can kind of adapt and kind of skew over towards that. So maybe Leeds are unlocking some sort of new tactical shape they might go for, or whatever, because I can't agree with you in the sense that Bornau is fourth choice centre back or whatever. This guy is playing. There's no two ways about it for me. Anton Stach, again, unless he shows up to training and he's not quite of the level, he's got to be in the team for me as well. A stellar talent that will complement the rest of the Leeds attack, I think, very well in transition and all the rest of it. And like I say, I'm just a huge fan of Tanaka. I just can't see him not playing. I think the most likely thing is that Bornau does play right back in a back four, and there is some sort of compromise to somehow get Ampadu into the team. But I do think, like, in the if you're telling me that Ampadu's not big enough, strong enough, and whatever to be a centre-back, Borno is ahead of Bijol in the pecking order for me in terms of what you're going to get out of them. Bijol is a man mountain. I don't know this Stroik guy too well, so apologies. And I meant to delete this Wober guy earlier, so if you've been commenting about that, sorry, I should have done that earlier, I just forgot. Now, is this like a good problem that Leeds have set themselves up with? I think when it comes to the midfield, it is a good problem because you do want to have competition for places, but you do want competition for places at a good level. The midfield, for me, the engine room, is where so many battles are won and lost. You need guys that can go shoulder to shoulder, take one where it hurts, you know, win the ball, have some composure, either maintain possession, turn the ball over, maybe start a counter-attack with some of the wide players, the guys up front, you know, hit the target man, play off him second balls, whatever the strategy is going to be. And, you know, I think there's enough guys, and, you know, Gruev, like, fine. Longstaff might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's certainly Premier League proven, and if this is one of your first or second midfielders off the bench, I think that's not a bad floor on the talent level that you have got in midfield now. Again, a lot of you guys were calling Harrison a snake, and you don't expect him to play again, so I'll just delete him. Again, if that's wrong, feel free to let me know down below. But I think like it's good that there's lots of options in defence. I cannot go with you guys, but that Borno isn't going to start. I think like all things being equal, I could see this sort of back four and midfield double pivot engine room kind of thing maybe being what the manager's plan is on the training ground right now. Might be the sort of shape that we see the team deploy from the opening matches, again based on your feedback and insight as well in the comment section. But I certainly think Borno is like the defender here. If you guys all fancy Bogle for right back, fine. Gudmundson walks in at left back, doesn't he? And everyone's telling me Ampadu is going to be in this kind of controller position here. Maybe that means Stach and Tanaka have got a real kind of fight on their hands. That's probably quite a good thing for Leeds. But again, I don't see how you spend 20 million on a guy from Hoffenheim who is like a prestigious talent without the imagination of you're going to sign him. Start him, I should say, I beg your pardon. So I think it's still, for me anyway, it's still very much jury's out for Leeds. Now, apologies, I maybe should have did this before recording the video, and I'm not going to go back and pretend or anything, so, you know, we can kind of see here. But I thought, let's just double check what Leeds have been doing pre-season, see if there's any sort of tell, any sort of early indication here. And I'm looking at the friendly they just drew with Man United at point of recording 10 days ago. And, you know, Ampadu did play in midfield. The back four was Bijol and Rodon, like you guys would have imagined and you were telling me in the comment sections. We see guys like Gudmundson come off the bench for debuts and all the rest of it. But one of the things I found actually quite interesting looking at this is that Tanaka was actually more in this Brendan Aronson position. Harrison also played, by the way, so I put him back on the board. But maybe that opens up this midfield trifecta of Ampadu, Stach, and then Tanaka maybe a bit more advanced. With Brendan Aronson, we know he can float out wide, so maybe he does that kind of thing where, again, off the ball, maybe he comes in for a bit more of a box midfield, very Red Bull, if you don't mind me saying so, with Nonto or whoever it might be supporting Perot. Nemeka actually started that game. I would so love it if Nemeka was fully fit and available because he's a very good striker and I'm a big fan of the guy and let's see how it goes, but early promise for him necessarily. So that might be an interesting kind of development that we see. Maybe Tanaka gets a bit further forward and yeah, Bijol, Borno. I think it's going to be Borno that wins out that one, although Bijol is the man mountain, like we said here. So yeah, very interesting. And this team actually looks pretty damn good for Leeds. Not for Leeds, but for Leeds. You know, they've got a good team to go out with this year. And I think I'm made all the more confident by looking at this team and thinking, do you know what? Could they fight off relegation? Could they maybe have one of those fairy tale seasons with the goalkeeper? Because Lucas Perri, who we've kind of skirted around in the video so far, had a really impressive season at Lyon, and Lyon were under so much pressure domestically and in Europe, and he was a big part of the, you know, it was Lacazette, Cherki, Fofana, a lot of these guys were right in the headlines and whatever, but Perri was one of these kind of quiet, kind of unsung heroes in the squad. This is a player that I think will make the step up to the Premier League as a goalkeeper very effectively. We've seen other goalkeepers of this standard come into the Premier League and do very well. Mark Flecken at Brentford is the one that springs to mind right now, who's just signed for Leverkusen, in fact. So I think this could be like, Meslier is one of these guys that was made his name off of some memorable moments and saves and everything else as well, and Perri has definitely got big moments in him for a goalkeeper, but I just think he's a little bit more composed and just a little bit of a higher level than what I've seen from Meslier. And again, I'm a kind of observer from a distance here, so I'm happy to be wrong on that front, but I think that's a quiet upgrade. That's a quiet W for the team here, and really whatever combination we argue about and it ends up being as the back four for Leeds, I think that's, amongst the promoted teams, Burnley have just lost Trafford. Yeah, they got Kyle Walker and whatever, but they've also lost Egan Riley. Sunderland have got Rionaldo in, but otherwise it's very much the same defence from the Championship, and still looking for a goalkeeper even themselves, aren't they? So I think Leeds quietly have maybe got the best defence coming out of the Championship into the Premier League based on some of their transfer business to reinforce it as well, of course. I really like the midfield. I do quite like the front line, but I do worry there's just maybe not enough creation in there, like guys that can get the ball from back to front. There's great pace in the wide areas, great endeavour, great energy from a lot of the guys you've got in the team here. But yeah, it's maybe just the one thing I would still worry about is it's missing that lead playmaker, that guy that's really going to make the difference, push the envelope for Leeds in attack. They've definitely got numbers, they've definitely got heads, they've definitely got bodies, they've definitely got potential for goals in this team. When you look at Nemeka, Perot, Matteo Joseph, who's highly regarded, Bamford, everyone knows his credentials, Nonto, Aronson, Ramazani and Harrison, maybe a bit of whatever, same with Dan James, but there is pieces here, but I just don't know if they've quite got that one that brings the attack together, And when I say that, I'm kind of thinking West Ham, when they've had guys like Payet or Paqueta, a team like Leeds, you kind of need that guy, I think, now to come in and just put it all together. There's good depth here, there's good quality depth. It might not always be spectacular in all these different positions, but all the same, I think Leeds have built quite a capable squad, and maybe they're now just missing that cherry on top of the cake to push the squad over the top. And I think the last thing I'd kind of say on this is I'm really pleased for Leeds fans how quick Leeds have acted from the last video. Not that our video was like a line in the sand moment or whatever, but when we did look at the squad there was genuinely no left back. There was genuinely, I think Stach and Longstaff make a huge difference to the picture we've got in midfield here. Every comment included saying we needed a new goalkeeper. That's now done. And yeah, it feels like Leeds have went about getting Premier League ready quite quickly in the window. We've still got all of August to go basically at this point, and then all the way to the deadline. So I think they're now set up to bring a talisman in, to bring in a maverick, a marquee signing. And I'll be really interested to see who that one could be. Leeds have been linked to so many players. It'll be interesting to see what ones they do get over the line. Please leave comments down below, thoughts and feelings and all that good stuff, guys, of course. On screen and now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Please hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy the video. For more content like this, hit the like button, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.